Hi, today I want to share with you why it's so important when you're public speaking to walk tall. You may have heard the song, I think it was by Johnny Cash. I was going to say Canny Josh, Johnny Cash. And it went something like, walk tall, walk big and look the world right in the eye. You may or may not have heard it before, and you probably have never heard it sung that way. But that's the sentiment I want to get across in this video. Why it's so important to walk tall and to be your best self, essentially, when you're public speaking. But before we go into that, let me introduce myself, because my name is Shola Kaye. I'm a professional speaker and a public speaking coach and a performer based in London. I've got clients all around the world, and I run a business called Speak Up Like a Diva. And Diva doesn't describe me. Diva is an acronym, and if you want to find out a bit more about what the acronym means, then check out my book or check out my website a bit more and you'll find some information about it. But let's get back to the topic of walking tall, because that's what I want to chat about today. A few weeks ago, I was running some corporate training in London for a tech company, and there was a guy there, lovely guy, who was in the training cohort. And when he came up to the front to the stage to speak, it was clear. He was a tall guy. He was probably about 6'2" or 6'3". He was a tall guy already, but it was clear that he wasn't owning his full height. If he had stood up straight, he probably had at least another couple of inches in him if he'd stood up straight. And when he finished speaking, I said, great talk, great speech. I need you to own your height properly, because you're already tall, but it's clear that you're slouching a bit. And I can understand if you grew up really tall and taller than everybody around you, then it may have made you a bit self-conscious about your height. But when we are up on stage in front of the audience, we often feel that there are things that we can hide or we can tuck away, but our life experiences are in our bodies until we've dealt with them at the very least. And so by this guy slouching, it made him appear to possibly be lacking a bit in self-esteem, or to have maybe some small confidence issues, or perhaps, sort of harkened back to perhaps he's being teased when he was younger for being taller than everyone else. But it was clear from the way he was holding himself that there was something there, because he wasn't owning all that he was and all that he could be. So that's what I want to talk about today, because it although, as I say, we think that we can hide stuff when we're on stage, but we can't. People can see through us. People can see into us. And so the better you've dealt with your issues, or the more comfortable you are being who you are, the better it is for you as the speaker, because you can completely own that space on stage. And the better it is for the audience, because instead of watching you and thinking, well, the way she stands, she looks a bit hunched, or she looks a bit, and wondering why or what happened, or just feeling that things aren't quite right. And of course, when the audience is thinking that, they're not listening. They're trying to figure you out rather than just listening to what you've got to say. To my mind, I wouldn't say it's all about posture, but posture is a big thing. And that's why a lot of Alexander technique teachers, which is all about posture and how you carry yourself. I've never had it myself, so if you're an Alexander technique expert, then you're probably slapping me through the camera, through the computer. But as far as I understand it, it's a lot to do with posture and the way you carry yourself, at least. But that's why a lot of speakers work with Alexander technique teachers to help them to carry themselves properly for when they're on stage. But in the absence of working with somebody specifically around your posture, I would just love you to remember to own all of who you are when you're on the stage, because you are you are a radiant being, and all of who you are is shining out when you're speaking. So why not let that be the good stuff, because you're really proud and happy with who you are and you've totally accepted yourself. And part of that is just owning, whether you might be a short person, you might be really tall, but just owning who you are and just having that stature when you're on stage. One thing that I read in a book by, I think it's Lyle Lowndes, How to Speak to Anyone, and she talks about the importance of having good posture. And I think it was in this book anyway, but she talks about every time she walks through a door, she will just take the sign of the door, the sight of the door, as a little reminder to stand up straight. So if you can imagine how many doors you walk through in a given day, and every single time you walk through a door, you just, oh yeah, time to stand up straight, right? So all of that will be cumulative. And eventually, if you did have any sort of posture issues or slouching issues, those would eventually disappear because you're constantly reminding yourself, stand up straight, walk tall, walk tall. And that's the air that you want to bring to the stage with you. And when I say walk tall, I'm not saying be conceited, be arrogant, be full of yourself, but have that quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've done the prep, you're ready to speak to the audience, and you're being your authentic self. Because once you're authentic on stage, nothing can topple you, because you're grounded in who you are. And if we can all bring that to the stage with us when we're speaking, then wow, what a difference that is going to make, both to ourselves and to our audience. So that's it from me today. Just a little tip to walk tall, to walk tall. Carry yourself as somebody who's worth $1 million, if not more, and be amazing. Be the amazing speaker and the amazing person that you are, because you really are. There's no one else like you. So go for it. Walk tall and just remember that you are an amazing thing, an amazing person. That's it from me today. If you would like to find out more, then why not go to sholakaye.com and you can sign up for my free online masterclass, which is how to be amazing on stage and win clients with public speaking. You can watch that anytime, day or night, or alternatively, you might see that there's a live online event scheduled, and I'd love you to come along to that wherever you are in the world. That's it from me for now. Walk tall, and I'll see you next time.